Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 New Dawn run. Hope you're all doing well. I've been having so much fun with the new items and the ban system, and I wanted to play one of the characters that I like the most in Brotato, the Curious. I think this character is so much fun because you just get boxes every wave and it's fun to see what items pop out of them. So we're just going to do a classic Curious run. I've done this in GMO a lot, or with random weapons where we were forced to use a bunch of the same weapons and take the penalty. But for this run, we're just going to play the character as intended and use 6 different weapons, so we won't be taking a minus 50% damage penalty. In order to make this character as strong as possible, I think that the weapon you usually are going to want to start with is either the shotgun, because gun is a good weapon category for the Curious. You're usually going to want 6 weapons in the same category, even if you have weapons of different types, or the javelin. I'm going to start with the javelin because the primitive weapon category is really nice for this character. It helps give you defenses, so you can spend more of your resources just on offensive capabilities to make sure that you can kill the loot aliens as quickly as possible, and javelin's just a very strong weapon overall. Okay, so yeah, obviously we've got our loot aliens, so I'm going to manually target them down and get our 2 crates there. One downside of javelin for the Curious is that it takes 2 hits to kill the loot aliens on the first wave, but as long as you use manual targeting or just have good movement, so it's always attacking them, you shouldn't have a problem with that. Sharp bullet, we don't want, probably, because javelin already has inherent piercing, and the other primitive weapons that we're using are not going to have piercing. Javelin, despite being a ranged weapon, scales with melee damage, so we're going to be using melee weapons here. So I'm just going to go ahead and ban the sharp bullet and stop it from showing up. We'll just take 7 materials, because we're never going to want to use that item. I will take the baby elephant, because this, of course, can clear enemies for us, and then also it starts getting the additional XP that you get from playing the Curious. Luck is really good on this character, but I will roll once or twice for harvesting to see if we can get it. We missed, but I'll just take 5 luck here. Obviously, getting higher level items to show up in the shop is really good for this character as well. We're gonna re-roll here. Do I want to ban the pencil? I probably should. We don't particularly need engineering for any reason, and losing attack speed is bad, so we'll ban pencil. Injection I'll keep in the pool, but we're obviously not going to buy it right now. Here, I could buy the slingshot. It is a primitive weapon, but it does scale with ranged damage. I think I'm going to buy it, though we will probably end up selling it, but I do just want the slingshot here, because I just want more weapons without having to reroll too many times. Insanity, I think, is, again, worth keeping in the pool, but not worth locking. Bag, obviously, we're going to lock. Here, we will buy a hatchet. Boxing glove, do I want to keep that in the pool? It's a little more interesting, and one of the reasons I was interested in playing the Curious is that banning items is kind of cool for the Curious, because you can ban items that you've already bought one of, in order to prevent them from showing up in future, which means that you can clean up your shops, even though normally the Curious ends up with a lot of items that you can't buy. And you can also, but you also want to ban fewer items because each separate item gives you XP gain. So an item like Boxing Glove that's kind of marginal, I think I'm going to keep in the pool here. I'm going to reroll, we'll lock a propeller hat, and we'll lock a hatchet, another primitive weapon. I would rather have 4 weapons and minus 10% damage going into wave 2 than have 3 weapons with no damage penalty, so we won't combine our javelins yet. More weapons here just makes it more likely that we're going to be able to kill the loot aliens. We'll kill this tree, and then we'll run over here and try to clear out the loot aliens. We've got a melee weapon as well as some ranged weapons, so we're running as close to them as possible to make sure that we have the damage to clear them out. This character is going to get all of its economy from these free items, so obviously we really want to make sure that we can kill the loot aliens every single wave. I'll take the cute monkey, of course, that is good healing and gives us some XP gain. We have a propeller hat locked in the shop, so I won't buy the one that we have locked, but I'll take the one out of the box because it's cheaper. And then, do I just want 3 regen? This character usually wants to buy damage early. But I think I will take 3 regeneration. It's just a level 2 upgrade, and then we'll take 5 harvesting just to get that rolling. So here I'm going to actually ban the propeller hat. I think it's never going to be worth spending 12% damage on 10 luck, so we're going to ban this instead of buying it. And then we'll buy the hatchet. We will do a reroll. Actually, something that I should have considered... Oh, I'll buy the rock as well. That's a primitive melee weapon. And in fact, because I have 6 weapons already, I'm going to buy the bag. With the Curious, buying the bag early will pay for itself really quickly, because you are guaranteed at least 2 crate drops every single wave, as long as you can kill the loot aliens. We'll lock the beanie. Book I could buy for the 2 XP gain, or I could ban it. I think I'm going to simply ban it, and then we'll roll here, and I'll lock a scar for sure. I'm really hoping to find one more primitive weapon to lock, and yeah, we found a quarterstaff here. Here I'm going to combine my hatchets and keep 2 javelins, because getting the hatchet combined means it will do relevant damage. We'll lose the damage penalty, but this way I can still keep 5 total weapons so that we can kill the loot aliens a little more easily. And javelin is usually our strongest weapon because it's the best primitive weapon overall. So having multiple javelins is better if you're going to keep multiple weapons. Alright, so we need to get this loot alien kill if we can. There's one, and then we'll chase down the other one. Of course, with the Curious, all you care about is killing the loot aliens. You do want to clear the other enemies, but the main thing is making certain that you get these crates. Especially because we have a coupon, or we have a bag. Coupon we now have as well. And then Broken Mouth we will also take, going up to 32 HP. Here I'll take 3 more regeneration. Having high healing can be good because this character wants to dive into big groups of enemies in order to kill the loot aliens, so it can be really nice to get healing. I'm going to take 4 melee damage here as well because I have none, and I want to make sure that we're able to kill enemies quickly. And then we'll buy out this entire shop, and then do a reroll. Also feels nice to be playing the Curious when I have the icon, because when I'm playing on the GMO mod with this character, it doesn't have the icon, so now we don't have to memorize every item we've bought. I could buy the brick. That will get me basically 10% damage. I don't think we want a level 1 hatchet for any reason, so I'm going to combine here and buy the brick. Snail, do I want the snail or the eye patch? I think I'll roll past both of these. The slingshot I want to get rid of as soon as possible. But I will take the charcoal because that, of course, increases our melee damage, which we want. Dynamite we're not going to lock, but I think I'm going to roll past it. And then we'll take the lumberjack shirt for sure. That I will pick up as well. Yes, it cost me 2 harvesting, but we get the XP gain, and lifesteal is a good way to heal for this character as well. We should be doing a decent number of attacks. I'm still going to skip the slingshot because I still want to replace that with a melee weapon at some point. That was really there just to tide us over while we were trying to have the damage to clear the early waves. The brick is nice because it's very cheap, it does a lot of damage output, and it's going to let us kill the loot aliens, and then we can either just sell it or wait until it breaks. That's our first loot alien kill. I'll go for this one curse alien, because I think I'll still have time to get the second loot alien, even if I get the curse alien kill. On Abyssal Terrors, you do have to be a little bit careful with going after the curse aliens, because it can take you some time and potentially cost you the ability to kill the loot aliens, which is your only goal every wave. I'll take the feather here. We will eventually end up building dodge. You just get a lot of random items on this character, so dodge is going to be good. It also does give us 1 damage on our... One damage on our slingshot, which isn't irrelevant at this point. Take 9 speed here. Boosting your movement speed matters a lot for this character as well, because you need to chase the loot aliens down. Buy both of these, and then reroll. I could buy a leveled up brick, but I don't think I care that much about that. I would rather buy the Peaceful Bee. It does cost me a melee damage, but buying Peaceful Bee is pretty nice for our harvesting and our dodge, and then we'll reroll here. Landmines I'll buy just because it's a +2 XP item, and we're at the point where we can spend 23 on just any unique item and have it be totally fine, and then we'll roll again. We're really not finding any non-slingshot primitive weapons. Peaceful Bee, I will never buy at the cost of 10% damage, so I'm just going to go ahead and ban that out, and then we'll reroll, and we'll lock a goat skull here as well. We have 37 HP already because we found a broken mouth, and we're a primitive weapon build, so that's really nice. This character really just wants to cobble together a weapon set. You don't care specifically about what your weapons are. You just are going to have really high stats from all the random items that you're getting. So having a worse weapon set is totally fine when you're just really ahead in terms of economy. Obviously, finding an early bag also is incredible for this character. It's possible I should have even bought the bag wave 1. I was just worried that it might cost us a loot alien kill. 2 more crates. Yeah, I'll take a fresh meat. That's another unique item, and while it does cost me a regen, gives us some XP gain and lifesteal, and an early bowler's hat. That's amazing. Gets us up to 26 harvesting at a relatively reasonable amount of time, too. Also take the attack speed. Not only is that just good for killing stuff, it also scales the damage of our hatchet, which makes that item stronger itself. Then we'll buy these and reroll. We will lock a lure for sure. Do I want a stick over a slingshot? Probably. It's a primitive weapon. Yes, it doesn't get the bonuses, but it still just scales pretty well off of melee damage. You don't actually need to have multiple sticks to make this a totally reasonable weapon. I'm gonna reroll here, and spear is better, so we'll use that instead of the brick. Hopefully the brick breaks this round, but if it doesn't, we'll just buy the spear anyways. Then I'm also locking the rest of this shop. Being able to ban the items you've already bought on the Curious, I actually hadn't really thought of that before I jumped into this run, or that wasn't something that I was specifically considering, but it makes this already very strong character even stronger, because the main downside of this character is you end up with dead shop slots as you go through the run, because you just end up with items that become really inefficient because they have minus 10% damage attached to them. But the ban system lets you avoid that for much longer. So you can see here, I'm glad we have the defensive stats because I had to charge at those loot aliens, which meant that I took a lot of damage, but we were able to kill both of them. All right, I'll take a lure here. Lure is a little bit spooky for the Curious sometimes because it does cost you... it strengthens the loot aliens really quickly. Jelly obviously is great here. I'm going to reroll and look for damage. Even the 4 lifesteal I don't think I really need. I'm going to roll. Yeah, 12% damage is perfect. And then I'm going to roll again, and we'll take 6 melee damage. Because I have 4 loot aliens, and I'm contemplating buying the second lure here. Our brick didn't break, unfortunately, but I am just going to recycle it. I'll buy these items. Do I want the second lure? So it would take me down to plus 6% damage, which is fine, but it would mean I'd have to kill 6 loot aliens next wave. On the other hand, the way that the Curious works, each loot alien becomes stronger in subsequent waves when you kill a loot alien. They don't get stronger during that during the wave that they're spawning. So if I buy the lure here, we have to kill 6 this wave, but they're all as strong as they're going to be this wave, not the strengthened ones that we would get next wave. I think I'm going to try it. I'm just curious if we can kill 6 loot aliens, mostly. I'll lock the leather vest. Is coupon worth spending 10% damage on? Probably not. I'll roll past it. I'm not going to ban it because we might end up spending damage on it later. And then I will buy the Cacti Club, Baby Squid, and Pocket Factory. Cacti Club is going to be better than the stick, I think. That's our weakest weapon right now, so I'll sell that for the Cacti Club. Level 1 stick, just not very exciting. Alright, so we're getting 6 loot alien spawns minimum this wave, so I need to be very on top of chasing them down and killing them. This is also wave 7, which is a healer wave, so I need to kill the healers as well. So maybe this was not a good wave to try this on, getting 6 loot alien kills on. Alright, we got 1. I did take a bunch of damage there. But you know, if you never try stuff, you never get to see what happens. Got another one. All right, here's another one. No, don't go towards the healer, please. Nice. And 6. Can we get 6? Oh, the healer ticked on it. I think we're not getting it. No, only 5. If the healer hadn't ticked on it, then I would have gotten the 6th one. I'll take the boiling water. Maybe we get a scared sausage or something, and it's 2 XP gain. We'll take the sunglasses as well. 10 crit chance is fine. Basically, most unique items you want to buy, although not scope, which I am going to just ban. We're never going to buy the scope. Compass we'll take, and then I'm going to reroll here. Ooh, 8 melee damage with only 33 luck. I guess 33 luck is pretty high for this point, but still, that's really good. And then, do I just want more movement speed, more HP, more regen? I think I'll take the 9 HP. That should get me enough health that we don't need to buy health anymore for a long time. I'll recycle the stick and buy the cacti club, and we'll buy baby squid, pocket factory, and leather vest. As always, I question why this is called a cacti club when there's only 1 cactus. It should very much be the cactus club. Lost duck, we've already got one, so let's go ahead and ban that. Lens, I don't really need either. I'll lock the butterfly. That's a unique item with stats that we're happy with. And I guess we'll never buy the lens, so we're just going to go ahead and ban that, and now we've used our bans. Alien worm, I currently have +1 consumable heal, so I'll buy the alien worm, and we'll pass on the mutation. I do actually have okay elemental damage, so I could swap out one of my weapons here for a torch. The low-level weapons, like the quarterstaff, are not amazing, but we should get a lot of levels, because I have tons of XP gain from being the curious, so the quarterstaff should get pretty strong pretty quick, so I think we'll pass on the torch. So it would have worked out better to save the second lure for this wave, probably, or try to do 6 loot aliens this wave and not last wave, because last wave was a healer wave, which I wasn't thinking about when I bought all the loot aliens. You can see here, though, that they are much stronger and take a lot longer to kill this wave, because last wave we killed 5, so they all got huge buffs. Getting a baby squid is really nice as well, since the curious gets so many levels. The baby squid should be giving us lots of value from XP gain. Get the curse alien kill. I guess the downside of banning Sharp Bullet is that we did get Pocket Factory. It would be nice with that, but I think we just didn't want the Sharp Bullet still. We'll take the small fish, and head injury we're going to recycle, because of course this would be just -4% damage and -8 range. Not exactly what you're looking for. Here I'm going to reroll, and oh, for some reason, I think because it was all level 2s, I was thinking this would be a guaranteed level 2 upgrade, but obviously it's not. But we'll take 8% damage here. That's pretty good. These weapons don't help us upgrade. One downside, of course, that you have on this character is that you need to find weapons of the level or higher level than you currently have in order to upgrade your weapons. We did just find a level 3 rock now, which gives us more max HP, which is nice. And I will recycle this and buy the level 2 quarterstaff. It's not an amazing upgrade to when you have to recycle, but quarterstaff is one of the weapons that's going to scale really well for this character. You can see it's already caught up in damage to the rest of our weapons mostly, because it scales off our level, which is going to be high. We'll take the claw tree here, and I'll take the campfire as well. More regeneration is good, and again, maybe this character ends up with a use for the elemental damage. It's not currently part of our plan, but we might want it later on. One thing that's important in this run, too, and playing the Curious, is to remember that you don't need to avoid every single duplicate item. You saw that we bought a duplicate lure, and items like bag or coupon or even like weird food, if you're struggling to heal, can be worth spending 10% damage on. There are items out there that are just good enough to buy, even if they come with an extra 10% damage penalty. Which does indicate that those items probably have a balance problem, but it's okay for some items to just be really strong in this game. Chase down that loot alien. But it is funny that there are items like Bag that you'll buy even if they come with an extra minus 10% damage, which is a massive penalty. Yeah, we'll definitely take the Scarf. This is all stats that we want. And then attack speed is something we're really struggling with, so we're very happy to see that. I could take additional luck or HP regen, but I kind of want a damage upgrade of some kind. We'll take 15 attack speed, and then here we'll take 15 luck. Scar is another weapon, or another item that sometimes you might consider buying for even with the damage penalty, but because we're the Curious, we have 104% XP gain already, so you don't particularly need to buy the XP gain items like that. Baby Squid is another one, because it gives us a lot of regeneration. Though, again, I don't think we're going to here, but this one is worth considering because it's so much regeneration. You might consider buying it if you need healing. We already have 23 regen and 5 lifesteal, so we're in okay shape and don't need it, but it's worth thinking about at least. Take the Fertilizer for sure. Whistle is a little dangerous for the Curious because it boosts the move speed of the loot aliens that automatically spawn, so it makes the thing you're trying to do harder, but still worth grabbing here, and we'll buy a Cacti Club, and then we'll just go straight to the next wave. I'm not going to buy the Knot. Our weapon set definitely could use some improvement. It's good enough, honestly, that possibly from a strict win point standpoint, buying the Knot is still correct, because it's just a lot of stats. I think, so I don't like Knot. I don't enjoy buying it, because it's not that fun to prevent yourself from buying cool weapons later on. But I think people conflate not fun and not powerful. And Knot is actually an incredibly powerful item. The downside is not particularly severe, because all it does is stop you from spending money in the future. It doesn't decrease your stats at all. You'll just spend that money on something else. So it decreases your options, but it doesn't decrease your overall power level. Obviously, if you're going into like an endless run where having those options really matters, it's a little worse, but for most level 20 runs, if you just want to win, just buy Knot every time you see it, if you're just trying to maximize your win chances. Bag, I'm gonna buy, even though it costs me 10 damage, because it's just so many stats for this character. We'll take the Cauldron, Poisonous Tonic is great, Silver Bullet also great. Fruit Basket, that should be a lot of healing, we'll definitely take that as well. Let me re-roll here. We'll take 4 more melee damage and then 8% more damage. And again, I will spend 10% damage on the Bag. We'll buy the upgraded Quarterstaff. And Small Magazine, I will buy even at the cost of 6 damage. We don't use the ranged damage really. The Cacti Club sort of does. But 10 attack speed for minus 6 damage and a little bit of XP gain is still just a good deal. Toolbox we don't want, and these other items we don't want either. Cyclops Worm will definitely take. Do I think that a second Fruit Basket is worth spending 10% damage on? This is interesting, because I'm still not sure how good I think this item is. It does give you a lot of healing, but it costs you 3 regen. It also potentially increases your economy, because when enemies drop a consumable, that has a chance of turning into a crate. And I believe that the way Fruit Basket works, it just drops a normal consumable that has a chance of turning into a crate. So I think I will try it. This might be a mistake. It's possible I'm overvaluing Fruit Basket here. It's also possible I'm undervaluing it, and it's incredibly strong, and it's ridiculous to even consider not buying it there. It could be either, and I'm honestly not sure which is the case. Does mean I need to fix my percent damage, because I've reduced it a lot by buying, you know, multiple bags, the fruit baskets, and so on. But that shouldn't be too hard. Alright, we've got a Gobbler. This is also a healer wave. I'm going to try to let the Gobbler eat materials, because if it eats a bunch of materials and then gets more powerful, it multiplies the value of the materials that it's eaten. So if you think you're strong enough to kill it, you want to let it eat a bunch of stuff and then kill it at the end of the wave. And I do think that we are strong enough to kill it pretty easily here. So I'm going to let it get big, and then we'll go kill it, probably with like 10 seconds remaining in the wave, just to make sure that I can manage to kill it. Because this is a healer wave, I don't want to give it a chance to survive. Actually, this is closer than I thought it would be to not killing it, but we did get it. And we got a lot of extra money as a result. We got 720 there. Recycle the small fish. We'll take a hedgehog. Spyglass. Is that worth spending 10 damage on? Probably not. Our percent damage is so low. I'm going to take 8% damage over 7 crit chance for that reason as well. But I'll still just grab attack speed here. We'll take the fish hook. I guess we're buying this whole shop. That's a great shop for us. Upgrade a javelin. We'll buy scared sausage. We've actually... Well, we've only got 1 elemental damage now, because I've bought some items that reduce it. Do I think it's worth spending 100 on 2% damage? Because we lose 10 but gain 2 from the Cyclops Worm. Our percent damage is really low, and the lower a stat is, the more impactful it is to raise it. But I think we still don't want the Cyclops Worm there. Take the Insanity and then roll. Can't be the King of Brotato without this item, so we're going to pick it up. And we'll grab a treasure map as well. My HP is fine. Charcoal I've already got, and so I'm not going to buy the acid. But we're very, very happy. Have to fix the sort here. We're very happy to get a treasure map similar to Bag. This is an item that's incredibly strong on the Curious because it gives us the... it increases the value of crates that we drop, and we drop crates every wave. Minimum 2 crates every wave, as long as we've managed to keep our damage high enough to kill the loot aliens. I just love playing this character because it's just so fun just getting constant influxes of free items. I know that there's a lot of people who really dislike the Curious. I think because playing with a weapon set that is not just all one weapon, a lot of people dislike, but I enjoy that, and I really like the way that this character plays out, so this is one of my favorites. We've only got 2 crates so far this wave, but maybe a chance of getting another one, which would be really nice. We'll see how many items we get to if our treasure map goes off. Baby elephant, we're going to recycle. Dynamite I'm going to take, and no proc from the treasure map. Tragic. I'll just take 3 regen here. Our healing is good, but could be better, and then we'll take 12% damage to get that back to positive. We're thrilled to see a regen potion. I already talked about how healing is one of the things that we need, and that just completely fixes our healing problem. Weird food we're going to pick up as well. Do I want the Wandering Bot? It can slow loot aliens that we're running after, so I think we'll take it. It's also just another unique item. And you don't need to be as picky on this character because every item comes with a small economic value, but also because there's just fewer items that you can buy. And so buying the items that you can buy is often good, even if they're not specifically super efficient. Celery tea I'll take as well, mostly just for fun because the XP gain is just going to be even higher on this character. It's not that valuable to get the 50% extra XP gain or the extra XP gain as the wave goes on, but we're just buying it for fun here. See how high a level we can get before the end of the run. Now, obviously, if we get a cool legendary weapon, I'm also just going to switch one of my weapons for that, but I'm pretty happy with my weapon set right now. All of our weapons are doing good damage, and they all scale off the same damage types, so we're pretty happy with where we're at in terms of our weapon set. Another option with the Curious also is you can just go with 2 javelins, because it is the best of these weapons by a fair margin, and it's really good at killing loot aliens, so multiple javelins is totally fine on the Curious. It just makes, even with a 10% damage penalty, it can increase your ability to do single target damage, which is all this character needs. I'm going to take another treasure map. Duplicate treasure maps are pretty good on this character. Again, we get all these crates. We'll take a barnacle for sure, take a penguin, and yeah, I'll pick up the mutation when it comes for free in a box. Here I'll take 10% damage to offset the damage I just lost. And then I'm going to take 4 armor. My armor is actually terrible. I hadn't really looked at how bad my armor is. All right, our fishhook went off for the first time ever. We have been locking items, just the fishhook hasn't gone off. I completely forgot that we had it because it just didn't ever happen. We'll roll here. We'll take the mastery. We'll roll again. And Thunder Sword is kind of a fun item. Do I feel like this is a fun enough weapon to replace one of our weapons with? Sure. I'll lock it, especially if it gets cursed. It should be enjoyable. We'll buy the riposte, and then we'll roll here. Goblet, I don't have one of, so I'll buy that, and then we'll roll again, and then, yeah, I will again spend 10% damage on a lure. We'll buy stone skin as well. So I've got a bunch of items locked for my fishhook. We'll see if it ever goes off again. I don't know how many items I've locked since we bought the fishhook, but it's gotta be like 10. With no procs, and the pity bonus just growing every round. It's possible our shops have worked out such that I haven't locked, like, any items. That wouldn't astonish me. But I'm fairly sure I've locked a bunch of items. Not something that I track retroactively, whether I've locked items or not. Important to make the right decision about whether to lock an item, but not important to care about whether you did or not. Despite having the celery tea, we were still able to clear a bunch of the loot aliens. We did get another one here, and unfortunately, we're not able to kill that one. But we're still in really good shape. We'll take the Tyler, baby with a beard. Cost me 50 range and doesn't really do anything. I guess it can set enemies on fire with our scared sausage, but I think I'd rather just have 60 materials. We've got a lot of melee damage and very low % damage. If those numbers were reversed, I would take the mastery even at the cost of 10% damage, but here we're just going to recycle it. Oh, Candy Bag is really nice. This is a great way to get bonus stats, and this character kind of just wants all of the stats. Also, spawning elites is pretty good for us. Here, I could take 12 crit chance, so this is level 25, so it's a guaranteed level 4 upgrade. I could take 12 crit chance, which isn't bad for us, but I think I want attack speed, % damage, melee damage, armor, or dodge, all more than that. So I'm going to roll and see if we can get one of those. We'll take 5 armor. That's going to help a lot. Nice fishhook, by the way. It's going to help a lot against the elite here. What's our worst performing weapon currently? It's our rock, but rock has defensive stats baked in. I guess we'll sell the hatchet and keep the cacti club. Hatchet's doing a little bit worse, so we'll sell that for the thunder sword. I could wait on the lure because we have to kill an elite, so 4 loot aliens might be kind of a steep ask, and it costs me damage here. Take the goblet for sure. Do I want to buy the lure or the stone skin? I think I'll just buy the stone skin here, and then we'll do a reroll. And another reroll. I'll lock another Thunder Sword and a Spear. Either of those cursed would be awesome, but upgrading the Thunder Sword would also just be great. You can see there we just got a bunch of free stats from our candy bag. This elite is always kind of tough to fight as a melee character. It's hard not to take hits from it, but we have the regen potion, so we should be able to kill it relatively cleanly. Without being at too much risk. You know, I'll take damage, but we can always just back off and heal back up to at least half. And then once it goes into this stage, you can just circle around it. The first stage is a little harder, but the second stage you can just, as long as you have an okay movement speed, you can just run around it in circles. Go ahead and kill this loot alien here, assuming that we can ever get through its hit points. The loot aliens are starting to get pretty tough because we have boosted their hit points a lot by killing a lot of them. With the Curious, they get stronger every wave. Any chance we can kill this one? I don't think quite. Yeah, we didn't quite get it, sadly. Panda, I will take. It does cost me 5% damage, but these are all stats that I'm very happy with. We'll take the Clover as well. Recycle that. We'll take that. And then here, I guess I'll just take 9 crit chance. And I'm going to roll. 27 luck is tempting. 13 attack speed. I really want percent damage, but I guess I'll just take the attack speed here. All right, we did get a Cursed Thunder Sword. That's awesome. And a Cursed Lure is going to be 6 Loot Aliens this wave. Go ahead and recycle, and we'll buy a Spear, and then reroll, lock a Muscly Dude, and a Jerky. Roll again. So Pearl is fun. We've got more than 100 luck, which means that even multiple Pearls we're still going to take because they give us positive damage. Because Pearl gives us plus 12 damage. Subsequent Pearls will only give us plus 2 each, but it's still going to be extra damage. And of course, the more Pearls you have, the more valuable luck is. So Pearl is going to be great. If we get a cursed one, so much the better, but it's still just a really good item for us. The stat that I'm always looking for with the candy bag pop-ups is armor. Armor's one of the most expensive and most impactful stats. So when you're getting 8 random stats, it's going to be somewhat random how valuable it is. You know, you could get 8 range and just get almost nothing out of it. You could also get 8 armor and just win the run immediately off of it. Obviously, those are extreme cases, but... But if you get a few points of regen and armor every wave off of this item, then that's just going to make every run vastly easier. So this item is super powerful. Because normally, it gives you stats that normally you pay a premium for at the same rate as you get other stats. So it's really nice from that sense. Bone Dice is great. We're going to reroll a lot on this character, so getting the Bone Dice will let us get extra percent damage. We'll take the eye patch here. Sure, I'll take a blood donation. We've got good enough regen to support this, and more cursed items is nice. We'll take a corrupted shard and an improved tools. Okay, I'll take the Will-O-Wisp. We have a scared sausage. Will-O-Wisp could be pretty nice. No, they've capped it at +4 per wave. Boo! Boo! They needed that for balance, but I really liked how incredible this item was over time. And it was for a strategy that isn't that good. So having a really powerful item for it, I thought was okay. I'll take the black belt here, and then we'll take wings as well. Landmines I'm going to recycle. Mouse, of course, we'll take. Plastic explosive we'll take. And then I'm going to grab 5 more armor. That just lets us dive into where all the enemies are more easily. Here, we're going to buy all these items, and then reroll, and reroll again. I'll buy the pearl. It's only +2 damage, but it means more pearls are going to show up, hopefully, which is good. We'll lock the alloy here. Blunderbuss is always interesting on the Curious, because this weapon's so good at killing high health single targets, like loot aliens. So Blunderbuss is actually a pretty powerful item for you. Oh, we've never apparently found a coffee, one of the best level 1 items, so nice to find one of those. I'm going to pass on the Scar Even Cursed here, because this character doesn't particularly care about XP gain, since we get so much just by buying different items. I guess it's fine that they've capped Will-O-Wisp, but I really liked how much elemental damage you could get from it. Important to keep the game somewhat balanced, but it was so fun to just go off with that item. So I think it maybe still needs another tweak. Maybe +4 per wave is still fine. I mean, that's still a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. But I liked the sense that you could just continuously generate even more value off of it. You can still do that if you stack enough of them, though, so you can still get a pretty broken Will-O-Wisp build just by getting multiple wisps. We were just shy of killing that loot alien there. But we've never found a tree, apparently, so getting a cursed one is nice. Take a Clockwork Wasp as well, and then you can see we've got free pearls from boxes, but it just increases our damage, even if only slightly. Big Arms is great, more melee damage, and I'll recycle the Lucky Charm. So we do have 3 pearls already, so this is actually only -1% damage. So actually I'm going to take the Lucky Charm. Then we'll take that, and then I'll reroll here, or reroll again, and more armor is always good. I'll take 16 dodge here as well, gets me almost a dodge cap. Reroll here, and we'll take nothing, and 12 more dodge. Alright, perfect. So we're almost at dodge cap. I'll definitely buy the alloy. It does cost me 3 dodge, but all of these are great stats, so we're very happy with them. We're gonna do some rolling here. Glass cannon we'll take. We've got 17 armor, and percent damage is the only stat that's low for us right now. Given that I have Will-O-Wisp and kind of an elemental sub-theme, I could buy the Scared Sausage. It would cost me 10% damage, but it makes it much more likely that we'll just stack extra elemental damage. I'm going to do that just for fun. I don't think that this is the most powerful thing to do. Yeah, we'll keep buying lures. It costs me 10% damage every time, but it's such a good item. You're just going to do it anyways. There, we were just strong enough to shred the elite almost instantly. Whoops. I just put down a glass and clanked a mug that was on my desk with it. Sorry about that, headphone users. Just drinking some water. And my coffee mug was still on my desk. And the two had an incident, but no spills or breakages, so we're fine. Oh, loot alien, can we get it? Yeah, I got it right before the end. Nice. The turret I'm gonna recycle. Robot arm, will lose... Wait, this used to give minus armor, didn't it? So they changed this to give minus HP? Am I hallucinating that? No, it's the ashes that gave minus armor. I can't remember actually what this item used to do, but anyways, the melee damage at the end of the wave, we'll just take 3 melee damage in engineering here, that's fine. Ice Cube works well with our Scared Sausages. Wisdom we'll take as well. And Cyberball I'll take, we don't have one. Mushroom we'll take, we don't have one. Spyglass I'm gonna recycle here. Hog we're recycling. Piggy Bank I'll take just to get it out of the pool. And then I guess I'll take 5 more regeneration. Roll here and roll again, and we'll take 20% attack speed. And we'll buy the lure. Don't need any of those items. I've got good engineering, and we're gonna keep getting more because we have the candy bag, so we're always going to get extra stats here. Where is that item? So we can sort by name now and make it easy to find. Oh, no, because now it's reverse sort by name. So candy bag is... Here we go. So we've gotten 32 stats from it, and so yeah, it's going to keep giving us extra engineering because it's randomly split, so it'll help our nails... help the nail without having to spend any money on engineering. We've also gotten a bunch of random engineering over time. It's still not worth buying reinforced steel because it only scales at 40% of your engineering, so this is like buying what's that, 1.2 melee damage, which is not particularly exciting for 150 here. Weird Ghost we will buy. Even though I have the blood donation, we've got the regeneration to support it, so I'm just going to buy it for the extra XP gain, and we'll roll here. Okay, Vorpal Sword is kind of fun for a curious build. You can one-shot the loot aliens. I don't think it's particularly strong here, so I'm going to pass on it. At least the level 1 Vorpal Sword, but it is kind of neat. I'll take the Scared Sausage here because... we're doing that, but I won't buy the coffee because my percent damage is really low. I've bought a bunch of duplicate items for fun, which obviously has reduced my percent damage. And then we'll still take a pearl. More pearls are good. Cacti Club will buy as well. So you can see here that even though I had the blood donation, so we were taking damage over time, you can still buy Weird Ghost if your regen is more than 10. You'll heal at least 1 hit point before the first damage tick, so you won't die. if you have more than 10 regeneration. And in this case, we have 50, so we were totally fine. Get that loot alien kill as well. And here's another one. We're starting to get multiple loot aliens every wave, which is great. Like, more than just the guaranteed 2. Because we have Whistle, we've got some extra enemy spawns, so we're more likely to find these. Now, I think we have a lure this wave. I can't remember, actually, but I think we have a lure, so those were guaranteed. But we're often getting more than just the guaranteed ones. We'll take the tentacle here, and we'll recycle a bunch of these items. We've gotten offered so many baby elephants in a roll. I'm looking for percent damage here if possible, but I'll take 4 armor. That's good as well. And then we'll take 16 dodge, because going over dodge cap is great. Here, I guess I will just upgrade all these items. And the Obliterator, do I want an Obliterator? I guess we're going into the last wave. 460 damage, though, isn't that exciting. Let's look at our damage output for our weapons in previous waves. Oh, I just upgraded these two, but they're lowest. I think that the quarterstaff is probably our weakest weapon, so let's buy the Obliterator just because it'll be fun to kill the bosses with it. Here we're going to roll, and roll again. Treasure map again I would buy for the -% damage, even with the -% damage, but we're going into the last wave, so no need for that. And then let's do some more rerolls. Nothing particularly exciting here. Is the level 1 spear... Yeah, level 1 cursed spear is just better than a level 3 spear, so we'll take it. And minigun we would buy, another pearl we would buy. Or minigun we wouldn't buy, but we would think about it, because we do have some ranged damage. But another pearl we would buy. Peacock I would probably buy going into later waves. Warrior helmet we would definitely buy. But we're very happy with our setup. Let's see if we can kill the bosses pretty quickly. That's the first one down. Obliterator is really good at killing elites and bosses, especially if you have decent attack speed, because his base damage is just so high. So it just takes them out really fast, and then we get to ascend back to the heavens. Alright, let's take a look at our items. So we saved 306 materials off Spyglass. This, by the way, is part of why I'm not a huge Spyglass fan. Obviously, it's good here. But this is a super high economy run. We're rerolling constantly. We started with the Spyglass. It still only saved us 306. So this item, the numbers just don't add up on it a lot of the time. Obviously, it's still good in this spot because we started with it for free. Baby Elephant did 31k, not bad. 187 healing from the Cute Monkey. We made more than 2,000 materials from bags. We saved 403 from our coupons. What else? 24k damage between the turret and the Pocket Factory. Baby Squid gave us 25 regen, putting us almost to 60 regeneration. Obviously a ridiculous item for this character. Our fishhook was truly garbage. Someone go back and count how many items I locked and in the period in which I had completely forgotten that we had this item because it didn't curse anything from here all the way to the celery tea like 4 shops later. The scared sausages didn't do much damage, but we just bought those for fun and to see if we could stack Will-O-Wisp stats, and we did get 13 elemental damage from the Will-O-Wisp. Not even the maximum available, but still pretty fun. We got 48 extra stats from Candy Bag, so a lot of those were distributed in stats that we didn't want, but a lot of them are distributed in stats that you want, so this item I think is just pretty good stat growth, especially if you get a little lucky and get points in things like regen, lifesteal, armor that are somewhat expensive to buy, or even just like flat ranged or elemental damage. That are somewhat expensive to buy, but that you can get randomly from this item. The pearls, of course, were worth 17 damage each, so even in multiples, they're great. We also had... How many lures did we have in this run? We got a lot of lures. Where are those? Yeah, so we ended up with 4 lures in this run, which is pretty good as well. Oh, yeah, and also our crown gave us 134 harvesting, but of course even more than that because it means that it grows by more every wave. Alright, my friends, hope you enjoyed this Curious run. I always love playing this character. It's just so fun seeing what pops out of the box. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.